Has anyone ever taught you how to choose a candidate to vote for? Of course not. But don't worry, I'm going to help you out and I'm going to share with you my 4 steps on how to choose a candidate for you. Hello, everyone. I'm Joy Williams. I am your civics teacher, your neighborhood political strategist, and the host of Sunday Civics. So, it's another election coming up. It doesn't matter if it's the election for president, for mayor, for city council, or even school board. You are faced with the decision, who am I going to vote for? Now, you may be enthusiastic about a candidate and you don't need any of these steps. Perfect for you. But for other people, they may be weighing their options, or maybe they know who they're going to vote for president, but they need a better way to choose out of the candidates for mayor, for city council, for school board. All right. So these steps are what I use when I'm faced with a decision on which candidate to vote for, so that I'm not just choosing who's just popular, but who actually aligns with what I think and what my values are. All right. So the first question I ask myself, which candidate on the ballot most aligns with my political values? Notice I said candidate on the ballot, not who you wish was on the ballot, but who's actually on the ballot. Okay. Out of those candidates on the ballot, who most aligns with the issues that I care about in this election? So to do that process, I start off by what are my core values, or what are the issues I most care about in this election? Jot those down. It could be 4 or 5, whatever they are. I jot those down. And then I look at the candidates who are running and see who most aligns with the values or the issues that I care about. For example, I'll use one of the issues that I care about, childcare affordability. Those of us who are paying for childcare know that you are you're getting upwards towards your mortgage, towards your rent, right? Of how much it costs. And, if you have multiple children, it is really stretching us thin. So this is an issue I care deeply about, right? So if I'm voting for president, how is a presidential administration, or how is Congress going to address this issue? It can all go down to the state level. How is my state assembly or my state senate addressing this issue as well? Are they supportive of policies that make it more affordable for families, but also making sure that the people who are working in that industry are getting a fair wage? So I'm looking at the candidates that are on the ballot, and I'm looking at this issue of childcare affordability, and I'm looking to see how does their policy platform align with what I want for childcare affordability. The next question I ask myself, what has the candidate done and said on those issues that I care about? Hopefully, during this election, you will hear from the candidates multiple times. They may be at your local grocery store handing out flyers, and you may have a conversation with them then. If they're a presidential candidate or running for U.S. Senate, they may hold rallies. You may see them on the news in interviews, and they will talk about the issues and what people are saying about the things that they care about the most. What are they saying? In those interviews, at those rallies, go to their website. What do they say on the issues page, on the policies page? And particularly if they've been elected before, what have they already done on this issue? Look at their record. Does their record match up with what they said? And then you can align those things and see, does this person not only just talk a good game, but when they have, or when they are in a position of power, they actually attempt to do something. This will give you a clear picture of their commitment. So using another issue I care about, a commitment to public education. So they can say all day, every day that they believe in public education, but particularly if they've been elected before, what have they done to support that statement? Have they invested in increasing teacher pay? Have they invested in building new public schools? Are they investing in the technology and the tools our students need in order to learn? Does the budget that they voted for support the statement that they have a commitment to public education? So that's my second step, evaluating what they've said and what they've done, basically looking at their record. Now, my third question to myself, which candidate am I more likely to push towards the policies, the legislation, or the appropriation that I want? So none of the candidates that are on the ballot are going to match 100% on every issue, unless I'm running myself. And this is truth, because everybody isn't going to align with 100% of what everybody wants. But who, based upon the candidates that are on the ballot, am I most likely to push further towards a more equitable solution? I may have a position on gun violence, particularly on access to high powered guns. And there may be a candidate that is 100% Second Amendment, digging in their heels, no restrictions, nothing. They just want unfettered access. Are they going to be responsive to protest? Are they going to be responsive to constituents coming to their office and saying, this is what we want? Or they just have a position and that's it. They're not going to be responsive to the people they're supposed to represent at all. Well, then I'm deciding who is more likely to, once they are in office, that they can have a conversation with their constituents, listen to what their constituents want, and be swayed or pushed further towards a more equitable solution for all. So my third step is, who am I more likely to push further? Who will be responsive to advocacy efforts or actually listen to what the community they represent has to say and take that into account for their decisions? All right, this is the last step. Step 4. The last thing I do is consider the political landscape. What is happening in our country? What is happening in our state? What is happening in my local community? And out of the candidates that are running, who has the temperament or whose leadership would I rely on in this time? There are, as the old folks say, the wars and rumors of wars, happening. And I'm thinking about the candidate who has the best temperament in dealing with foreign policy issues as I'm looking at the candidates running for president. I'm looking at that person walking into a room, negotiating a ceasefire, a arms embargo, and like stop genocide, murder in Africa. Like, I'm thinking about all of those things, and who do I want on the other side of the table representing me? If it's on the state level, and my state is dealing with a budget deficit, or my city, my the education, public education budget has been shrinked. Who do I want to lead in that type of environment, right? There have been natural disasters. Based upon who is running for governor, who is running for any of those positions, based upon what's happening in my community, based upon what's happening in the world, this is the person that I want them to walk into that room representing me. That is what I'm thinking about. Because the right leadership can make a difference on how we are effectively addressing some of the most pivotal issues of our time. It may not matter 100% with their policy or their view or whatever it may be, but how they lead is as important. So these are the things that I'm thinking about. These are the steps that I take myself through when I'm making the decision from the top of the ballot all the way down to judges, and particularly judges. I'm asking about temperament, right? And the things that they are considering. So there you have it. These are the steps that I personally take myself through when deciding a candidate to vote for, and it doesn't matter what position it's for. The first thing I do is consider what's important to me, and do these candidates, or does the candidate align with my political values? The second thing I'm doing is checking their record. What have they said? What have they done? Does it align with me, right? The third thing, I'm considering my influence. Am I going to be able to sway this person? Am I going to be able to have access to meet with their staff, meet with them, and maybe push them further on an issue. They may be 75% there. Can I organize with other constituents and other people in my community and push them a little further? And then the last thing I'm doing is considering the political landscape. What is happening in our world, in our state? And given what is happening, do I want this person to lead in that environment? Do I want this person walking into a room representing me? And can I trust that they can represent me well? These are the steps that I take myself through. Hopefully, this helps you as you are making the decision as election day is fast approaching. But by following these steps, or whatever steps you may have, you'll be better prepared to get vote ready so that you don't wait until you're walking into the voting booth to then try to think about who you are going to vote for or do any money mo, because I do know people who do that. Don't do that. Know who you're voting for before you get there and know what's on your ballot before you get there. You can actually go to vote.org and look up your address, and you can see what is going to be on your ballot, what positions will be on your ballot, because everybody will focus on the president, on the mayor's race, on the governor's race. But you need to see what else will be on your ballot, and you can make your choices on which candidate of the candidates that are going to appear on your ballot for whatever position. You can make your choice going in so you are a better informed voter. Now, I want to hear how you choose candidates. If you have something that you want to add to the list that I should consider, or you have your own list that you go through in deciding which candidate to choose that will appear on your ballot, share it with me and let me know. Maybe it'll help some other folks as they make their decision. Now, for more tips like this and an in-depth community civics class that you probably didn't get in school, you can tune in to Sunday Civics every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. on Sirius XM Urban View, channel 126, or you can download the podcast. All right? This class on how to choose a candidate is officially dismissed.